I'm Jack from Jack Review Stuff, and today I'm here with Matt Brendan. He's a photographer and also Fuji brand ambassador. Fantastic. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
I feel like I should be going, yo, or what is it?
Yeah, that works too. You're in Penang,
I do. I live in Penang.
and you're a brand ambassador, which is awesome.
I am. Thank you.
Nice. I changed from Canon to Fuji for two reasons. The
Okay.
first reason is I'm sure we are all familiar with Sigma Tamron lenses. All right. They are known as the alternative, a cheaper lens compared to Canon, Nikon, Sony for full frame. And I was happy with my 7200 and 2470. One day a client said, the photos are too blurred, we can't see them. I'm like, what are you on about? Yes, there was a group photo, and the faces were indeed almost unrecognizable. I mean, they make the joke that Chinese people all look the same, but there just wasn't enough.
I don't make that joke.
They make the joke. I mean, okay, I made the joke. I'm half Chinese. All right. So anyway, the resolution or the sharpness wasn't quite there. So I realized I need to go first party. And the Canon first party lens was at least 12,000 ringgit, which was way too expensive. So I had to find an alternative. And the second one was that I saw that Fuji, they have more than one brand ambassador per country. And I'm like, okay, maybe I have a chance to be a brand ambassador. Plus the lenses, first party, made in Japan, half the price, maybe 6,000 ringgit for the 16 to 55 f2.8. No IBIS. I was very disappointed, but it was actually pretty damn sharpest lens I've ever used. Now from YouTube, I'm using the kit lens. Now I used to think, kit lens, until I started using YouTube. Then I realized, I need the IBIS.
Well,
The kit lens is almost the same, 18 to 50, but it's f2.8 to 4. And I was like, f4 is no good. But yes, when you're shooting video, you need f4. 2.8 will be like one blur, one shot.
Yeah, and the kit lens in like some of the Canon kit lens and some of the other kit lenses of other companies, they're actually like plastic optics and different things. And Fuji, their kit lens is all glass, and I believe it's even metal on the barrel of the lens. A little known fact a lot of photographers know it, but a little known fact about Fuji lenses is that Fuji actually makes Hasselblad lenses.
Ooh. Oh, conspiracy. So Hasselblad, we know is a European brand, but now I hear that it's been bought over by the Chinese, and they're giving it to Fuji to make? Interesting.
No. They've been making Hasselblad lenses
long before the Chinese bought the company.
Oh yeah, a long time ago.
When did it happen? I mean, I don't know, roughly like 50s or.
I don't know, but it's been, as long as I can recall. They've just been, they've always. I don't know when it started. It's not.
It's a long time ago. That would explain why Fuji's GFX G medium format lenses are so good, because they're like, suddenly they make medium format lenses. No, they don't. They made it for years, and for Hasselblad.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And the other thing about it is the quality of the lens. And like I said, the lens barrel is metal, all glass optics. The kit lens is as sharp as anything, and all their lenses are super sharp. People, when they do the reviews of the kit of all the lenses of the Fuji, they're always going out to the very, very edges, trying to find the corners, the most softest spot. And sure, there are certain lenses that are sharper than others, but in general, it's just they're just crazy sharp. In fact, some people have complained that they're almost too sharp. I haven't found that to be the case myself. But
they have the X-trans sensor, so the green pixel is like in the X shape. So maybe it makes a difference in the sharpness as well. No anti-Aliasing, no AA filter.
I don't know. I'm not
too technical.
I'm definitely not too technical. That's for sure. But I'm not a huge fan of the X sensor, X-trans. I like it. It's okay. I like the colors of it, especially skin tones and stuff. But I shoot the GFX. And so that's the
medium format, huge 100 or 50 megapixel sensors.
Right, I'm doing the 50 megapixel, but the which
Huge.
I just shot what was it, like 3 weeks ago, I was playing with the 100S, which is the 100 megapixel that just was released. That is an amazing camera. But anyway, but those are not X-Trans sensors.
No.
And I find I really like the whole look of it. Although lately, you know what has been getting a lot of press, just from grassroots, people are buying up the X Pro 1. And
That's classic. That's really classic.
it is, but it's also got one of the best
Made in
sensors,
Japan.
and that's right. A lot of them are made now in Indonesia and other places.
It's kind of weird. The X Pro 3, they've made the LCD when you flip it around to have a mini LCD to look classic, but people are actually buying the X Pro 1 because they are classic.
Yeah, that's right.
It's got a full circle.
Yep, that's right.
There's a YouTuber called Camera Conspiracies. Shout out to him. I think he's Canadian. His theory is that Canon makes really bad crop sensor lenses and crop sensor everything on purpose to make us think that it's a crop issue, not a full frame crop issue. Not that. For me, I feel that Fuji only has crop sensor. They don't do full frame. They go straight to medium format, so they don't really have the need to mess with the crop and make it look bad, kind of thing. It's a conspiracy, though. I'm not sure it's true.
I think that's one of the silliest things I've ever heard.
But you agree that it's very sharp and good for crop?
Yeah. But I mean, thinking that Canon makes something bad, I mean, Canon is an amazing company, and they're not going to be making bad products on purpose. So no, I don't buy that. But yes, I am a huge Fuji fanboy, obviously, and I have a quote that people have used that I came for the size and stayed for the quality.
Oh, okay.
The camera. So I came from Canon.
Most people do, actually.
Yeah, a lot of people do. And I came from Canon, and the Canon camera was an amazing camera. I had Canon my whole life.
I'm guessing it's full frame because you are a professional.
Well, yeah, but I've had. So I started shooting Canon when I was probably 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
With a QL, and
Definitely film then.
Definitely. And had a FTB, and then I had a TLB, and then I had an AE1, and then I had a what did I have? An A1. Well, my dad had an A1, but I stole it, and then I had just one of the very first EOS. I don't even know what it was called, and then I stopped shooting for many years because I was living in India, and every time I'd get film processed, it would come back scratched. So I just said, forget it. I'm not gonna do it.
Goodness!
And
those guys do things that really old school. I'm surprised it works sometimes.
Well, that was
some of their old school methods.
Right, but those were the old days. I mean, this was in the 90s, but then my first digital camera that I ever owned, well, outside of a Sony video camera, which shot 1 megapixel pictures, stills. That actually was the thing that got me so excited about digital, was the 1 megapixel picture that I was getting off of a Sony video camera. I saw, wow, this is amazing, what I can do with this.
It's a full megapixel.
Well, at the time, I didn't even know what a megapixel was.
I'm just checking the focus. One good thing about Fuji is that the autofocus, continuous and single shot manual, is on the front of the camera. So normally I sit there so I can see it, but I can't pick it from there. Yeah, my first digital camera was a Sony. It was only VGA, and at that time I didn't know about sensor sizes. So it was fantastic for me. You put a floppy disk inside, and my mom bought it to take photos of documents. She's living like in the future, and we took a photo of a document, and there just wasn't enough resolution. So she's like, okay, you have it. So like, yay! So it had a 10 times optical zoom, which is considered good at that time. And that camera has the same problem as many Sonys have today. Single slot for memory card. Can you imagine if it had 2 floppy disks? I could just take photos and give it away and still keep one for myself, and it's only like 2 ringgit for a disk. But that time, if I gave the disk away, I would have no soft copy. And people can't just, we transfer it around, because that time
Right.
we only had Hotmail. Maybe that was before Gmail, I think. Good times.
Yeah. So the first real digital camera I got was the Canon Rebel. It was the original Rebel, the very first consumer one, 5 megapixel, and I shot that for several years, and then eventually got into I bought a 5D Mark. Well, it was just the 5D, and then started shooting. I was during the earthquake up in Kashmir many years ago, and
Were you there before the earthquake happened, or you
No,
went
I was there
afterwards?
when it happened.
Oh my God.
I was living there, and
So you had the camera ready, sort of.
No, well, it's an interesting story, but so what happened was, I was shooting the Rebel, and the earthquake happened, and I was working with a bunch of NGOs, and they were saying we need better pictures than this, and so the NGOs ended up coming together and buying me this camera so that I could photograph all their work.
Fantastic.
And that's when I
That was the 5D Mark
shifted-
II?
That was the 5D. And that was when I shifted into doing humanitarian photography. I did that for many years, and still do it on occasion, but not very much. But anyway, and then shot Canon all the way up to the Mark III, had all the prime glass, all the top glass.
5D Mark III?
Yeah. and
That was
then-
quite recent. That's when I started. But I bought a 7D Mark II.
Yeah, and then what I did was I sold it all and bought Fuji.
Yeah,
because,
Fuji.
Because I had tried the X100. You know, that's the little camera with the fixed lens, and it's not a system camera. And I said, boy, if they ever come out with a system camera that's like this, you know, essentially a rangefinder, I said that I would.
Rangefinder. Sounds like X Pro 1.
Right, and I said, well, it was the X100, but then I said if they ever come out with a system camera like that, I'd go for it. And so they came out with the X Pro 1, and that's when I started selling off my Canon gear, and I've never looked back. So yeah, so now I think that you're using the XT4. I have the XT3, but then I've got the GFX.
The XT3 was the last Fuji X series made in Japan. Then they moved it to China. Some people complain about this. I feel the quality is the same. So you're saying that you had the XT3 and the GFX?
Yes. Yeah. And I'm debating my next camera whether it's going to be, you know, there's rumors about a new GFX 50.
The Mini 100, is it?
Well, they don't know what it is. No one's talking. Even in Fuji, they're not talking. But even if I knew, I couldn't tell you. But I don't know. But I don't know. But the rumors on Fuji Rumors is that it's a 50. It's the same sensor as the 50, but it's going to have IBIS and some other stuff. We'll see. I don't know. But the 100 was the 100S was amazing, and I really thought hard about buying that one.
I don't know what that sound is. It might not be picked up in the mics. We'll see. Leave a comment if you can hear this sound and tell us what you think it sounds like.
I
don't know
tell you what it sounds like.
What it sounds
but-
like. Is it a drill? So currently Matt's in Penang, and he's not near the airport area. He's in the Platypus area? What's your coverage area?
Coverage area.
Tanjung Tokong, Platypus.
When you say coverage, what do you mean?
For your photography, like I'm in Platypus. I do Platypus photos.
Oh, well, I mean, I live in Tanjung Bunga, but
You
but
do the whole
I'll-
island.
I'll shoot everywhere. Yeah.
All right. So Jackie View Stuff loves to shoot near Platypus, but if you want to shoot anywhere in Penang, call Matt. He is Fuji brand ambassador, and he's using medium format stuff. He actually took some photos for me from medium format. They look fantastic, and I had no makeup on, but I thought I did, and it looks pretty good. So yeah, go and find him. If you want simple stuff, you can find me, but find him first. sample photos. Okay, so I'm going to show some sample photos. You can say something about it because
Sure.
I'm curious about it. Okay, the first one is Matt. How do you take your own photo? What did you use? My friend Sherwin has awesome photos of himself, and he says, "Yeah, I use 10 seconds self-time and just runs." Sherwin, you are awesome. I don't think you ran and sat in a chair because you look pretty composed like this.
Yeah, no, I mean, I did use a self timer, but I have a table sitting next to me, and then I have I
Fuji
use the
app?
Fuji app, and it links with the camera, and then I can see the everything, and then I can touch it to focus on my
Touch the
face.
focus,
and,
control the
and-
exposure,
and I can
everything.
change the exposure, ISO, and everything. All the settings, and so this is in my studio. So pandemic, I've not been able. So I'm an assignment photographer. I shoot for like Nat Geo Traveler, other magazines, things like that, and I travel. And then I teach workshops, photo workshops, but I haven't been able to travel for a year.
Oh,
plus
because COVID.
Because of COVID. So if I leave the country, I can't get back in. And then if I go into another country,
You can't get out?
then might be able to get out, but I'd have to quarantine for 2 weeks in a
Whoa.
hotel, and then I'd have to come back here, quarantine at least for a week here. It's just not worth it. So I started a new business, and I'm doing headshots and portraits.
Cool.
And so I take people's like for their LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever for their portraits, and I take their headshots or creative portraits like this, and this is I just took this morning actually because
That was this morning?
yeah, it's just this morning. See, I'm wearing the same clothes.
Hey.
Because I'm playing with this backdrop. So
It looks hand painted. Did you paint it?
no,
Was someone painted
it is hand painted.
Nice.
And I work real close with the folks at Big Big Studio and Onsmo.
Those guys are awesome. Go to Big Studio. Shout out to Jay.
Yes.
He's awesome.
Yes, he is.
I got all my lights from him.
And so Jay has these hand painted backdrops, and this one is massive. I don't really need one quite the size of this. I could shoot a whole family in front of it. It's like 3 meters wide. No, it's like 5 meters wide by
No,
3.
it's huge. It's meant to go the back and the ground.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
So, but anyway, and that's an old, like a Kopitiam seat and stuff, and so.
Did you steal it from the kopitiam?
No,
I've stolen
I
a chair
bought
from
it.
the shop before. I felt bad about it, but I didn't know how to return it. So I just gave it away. I don't know how it happened. There was a beer involved.
But anyway, so that's that, and then the next one, it's another hand painted backdrop.
Oh, the other picture.
That's one of my clients. She
Oh, the
had-
green dress one.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and so that's another hand painted backdrop.
I like the green and the contrast with the black.
Yeah, that came out really nice.
So this is hand painted as well.
Yes.
Nice. And at your studio, where's your studio based? Is it
It's
far?
in my home,
So it's in Tanjung somewhere.
Tanjung Bunga.
Tanjung Bunga.
Well, it's Tanjung Tokong, Tanjung Bunga. It's right on the. It's literally like my.
It's not too far.
Do you know where the,
From my 32?
Chinese swim club is?
Oh yeah, it's just nearby.
Yeah, and or the Viva Food Court.
That's
which
the
is right-
place where you had your GFX to take my headshots near there, the Chinese swimming club. It was at the with those film guys.
I don't remember that, but I live right there though, so that's
Okay,
it.
that's cool.
But
Wow.
my studio's in the top. I have a two floor house,
Uh-huh.
landed property, and we and it's in one of the bedrooms up there, and so I have it set up there. And I've got-
I'm a budget friendly events photographer, and I thought I was having problems, but I didn't even think that there were people like you who have problems leaving the country because your assignments are like huge. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like it's too big for Malaysia. You need to go somewhere else and take it. It's like it's like worldwide coverage. Actually, it's quite strange that Fuji ambassadors Fuji sends their ambassadors to other countries. Since many countries have ambassadors, they can do it in-house in their own country.
Well, they don't send us. They don't send us.
I mean, you travel.
I travel, and a Fuji brand ambassador is not an employee of Fuji. We don't get paid by Fuji.
I know it's my dream life goal. So I imagine like rainbows everywhere.
Right.
But it's not.
Yeah.
It's
No,
still good. It's good though.
But I mean, yeah. But so when I come back, then I'll give Fuji some pictures to use, and then they will allow me to do a review of a camera, maybe pre-release and things like this. And so there's a give and take relationship.
Awesome.
So,
I was very fortunate to get a copy of Fuji's camera before it was released. I only had it for 2 minutes, but I'm still happy. It was the X Pro 3. I got like a 2-minute review somewhere. That was the green dress picture with another big studio. Shout out to Jay. And what's the next one? This is a girl with a very famous Penang girl with a doll.
No, this is her dad. The next one, I mean, I don't know what order you got.
The one with the doll.
Okay. The one with the doll. So, yes. And
so she sings opera and she makes the Chinese opera style dolls.
Yeah, she's pretty famous locally. She teaches the traditional Hokkien puppetry and does opera and super nice lady. And so and I don't know if you've got the picture of her dad on the gong.
Dad? Yeah, how did you get the gong in the studio?
Well, it's not. The whole thing was a makeshift studio.
East meets West.
That was a makeshift studio we did on the street.
That's on the street?
Yeah, that's on the street.
How do you get black on the street?
I have a big black backdrop.
And
set it
people
all
were
up.
holding it?
No, I have two stands, and I have the backdrop hung and have it all down.
So lucky it wasn't too windy that day. It was it was really outdoors, not in.
It was right behind their little. They have a little stage that they take with them where they go. It's
Awesome.
on wheels, and it was right behind that, and so I shot their whole troupe, and did it.
Oh wow.
And this was a 2-light setup, so you can see on the dad, you can see the light on his back from one side, and then the other light.
Was that using the Godox system or?
Yeah. So when I'm in the field and I'm outside, I use Godox. I use one of 3 Godox usually: the 600, 8600, 8400, or the 8200. And then I will use the extension head on the 2 heavier ones.
That makes such a difference. The weight goes on the body of the head.
And then I'll use like Jay's Osmo. I'll use his big I think it's a 105 centimeter, real shallow, it's like a Octa, but it's
a big
not,
one.
It's it's big. It's 105 centimeters, but it's like 12 ribs, not 8. And then I'll use 2 of his lights, his modifiers, and on the Godox, and then that's how I lit that.
For those of you wondering about Godox, Godox has been rebranded a couple of times. One of them is Osmo for Malaysia, and the crazy, amazing thing about Godox and Osmo is that before that, there were Chinese knockoff flashes which weren't very good, and they weren't very expensive, understandable. And then there were, if you were serious, you need Pro Photo. You couldn't buy a car with that money to buy the flashes. And then we have Godox, where you can use the price of a motorbike or a bicycle to buy the same output light, similar quality as those that you could buy a car with.
Oh,
I feel it's almost the same.
It's better than that. So let me explain this. So an 8400, okay, which is 400 watts. Okay, the price of an 8400. Let me rephrase that. For the price that you'd get a 586 Canon speed light, you would buy you can buy the 8400 for a speed light. A Canon
This is the
speed light.
8200.
That's the 8200.
It's basically the same size as a Canon speed light.
Right.
And the lithium battery will last you. You won't be able to finish this battery even if you shoot 1/1 power.
Right.
And it's the same price.
I think that's like 3 times as powerful as the speed light, something like that.
It's 200 watts.
Right.
It's a GN 200 or something. Anyway, it's good. You can use it with those big modifiers. and it's like 1,000 plus ringgit, similar price as Canon.
Well, it's not just that. So yes,
This is
you
the
can
first
use
one.
it. You can use it with other modifiers.
And it
but
came
you
with,
can
this is the
pick-
Fresno head. There's
but
another
it has-
head with it.
Yeah, it has a bare bulb head that you can
Yeah,
put
that
on
one.
there. So yeah,
These are amazing.
yep.
But now with 2021, the year of the LED, so we've stopped using this for a while. This is just for show. Oh, okay, one more thing.
Well,
not
that's,
just,
LEDs are not going to give you
not
the
just
power
for show,
outside, though.
for sound. Because when you take photo with this, oh yeah, I'm in the studio. Oh, teet, teet, teet. With LEDs, you don't get this. So sometimes I just use this for the sound.
So I use LEDs in my headshot studio, but when I'm outside, I never use LEDs. They're just not powerful.
Not the
enough.
same, yeah.
Well, they're not powerful enough. You know, I'm shooting in daylight. I need something that's going to be able to overpower the sun, and you know, a 400 or a 600 watt flash is the only thing that's going to be able to do that.
So good to have it here. This video has felt like 5 minutes, but probably a lot longer than that. Thank you for your input, and bye Fuji, subscribe to his channel and mine. What's the channel name again?
My YouTube channel is just, I believe it's just Matt Brandon.
Matt Brandon. And mine's Jack from Jack Review Stuff. So Fuji saw that your subscriber growth had exploded since your XT3 review.
Yeah.
So Fuji, please send him more stuff to review and send me stuff to review too. You can send it to him first, and I can drive to his house and pick it up and borrow and give it back to him.
Okay.